Oh, welcome to Freethought Forum, where the gods aren't real and all the religions are made up. I'm Sam Geltz,
Joseph Johnson.
and today we are talking about the decline of religion in modern day society. God is dead and no one cares. If you care, feel free to call us, and numbers at the bottom of the screen, 865 area code 215-2288. This is a program brought to you by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee. The Atheist Society of Knoxville is a meetup group. You can find us on meetup.com. Many people find us by searching for Knoxville Atheists. We meet on Tuesdays at 5 or 6, right after the show at Barley's in the Old City. We are a very large group with 40-plus members show up weekly. We take up a large section of the bar.
Including children.
Yeah, you can bring children. It's a bar, but don't feel like you can't bring your kids. It's kind of hard to miss us. Now that the weather's getting nicer, we will be meeting at other locations on Fridays. The Rationalists of East Tennessee have monthly activities on the first and third Sunday mornings. They're usually lectures with lively roundtable discussions. The fourth Sunday is Reflections Gathering, which is a potluck afternoon gathering at a member's home. Moving on in news. So in the news, the big topic, which has taken up most of CNN and Fox News' airspace, is the Pope, the new Pope. After last Pope, Mr. Ratzinger, stepped down for health reasons, but I don't really believe that so much. I mean,
is that the statement?
That's what's his statement. Health reasons.
He was pretty old, I guess.
Yeah, but most popes stay on there until they are decaying on the throne, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he stepped down for, I think that it largely has to do with the scandals with the church, mostly to do with the child abuse. But the new pope is Pope Francis. What can we expect from this new pope? Any new revelations in the church?
He definitely, from what I've read, seems to be taking a fresh approach, coming at it from less of the pomp of the old church.
Yeah.
I've heard things such as driving his own car, paying his own tabs, things of that sort that previous popes had not been doing.
He is rather pro-poor, and he was before he was pope.
Pro-poor, yeah.
When he was in Argentina, is where he's from. He's still Italian blood, but
first
he has been a champion for the poor, and I think that's what the church should be.
He's the first entirely American, anywhere in the Americas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
For popes?
Yeah.
Which is a turning point as well.
That's pretty much the end of what new he has going on. He pretty much still toes the line when it comes with discriminating against gays. He is still against contraception and women's rights. He has said that he thinks that it is child abuse for gays to adopt. And it's a funny thing to say, coming from the Catholic Church, don't you agree?
Wow.
So, I didn't expect anything new from a pope, from their new pick, but this guy's rather old, so maybe he won't be there too long. He might have to retire soon too, for age. Do we have a caller? Or?
Yeah, we do. I put you on hold.
No. Okay.
Right.
I think we have a caller in a minute. If you have any other comments or questions that you would like to ask us about the new pope, feel free to call us in as well. So the Catholic Church is most popular, and do we have a call? Yes. Hello, caller. Do you have a comment or question for us?
Well, hello. This is Faithless Forrest. Sorry I can't be there with you guys today, but I see you're talking about the new head of the Catholic Church. I guess he's calling himself Pope Francis.
Yes.
And the thing that I know about him that struck me as interesting and perhaps hopeful is that I guess he comes from the Jesuit tradition. And I guess that they have emphasized scientific learning. And I hope that we won't see the retrenchment we saw under Ratzinger, where they were kind of trying to back off from their endorsement of evolution as being a correct scientific explanation of how we got here, that kind of thing.
With Catholic churches,
but I haven't heard any pronouncements or anything. Obviously he's new. You guys heard anything about his support of science?
I can look it up really quick.
I haven't heard anything about his support of science. The Catholic Church has always been more pro-science than other sects of Christianity, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, Sam, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. The Catholic Church in
not always.
of Leon, you maybe mean the Catholic Church of the 20th century, and probably the last half of the 20th century.
I totally assumed that when you said that, sorry.
Yeah. So I think that hopefully they will continue that. I am more interested to see how he handles upcoming scandals, because those are not going to go away. And if he's going to play this game of musical chairs that Ratzinger had played with the previous...
Ratzinger certainly seemed to be at the heart of a lot of non-accountability. I guess as head of the Inquisition, he was more concerned with protecting the institution than the children of the institution, for instance.
That seems like that is the thoughts of the whole Catholic Church as a whole, as my understanding. Even smaller churches.
I'm not finding anything other than this reaffirmation of the statement that he is science-friendly on the internet. Nothing specific.
The Catholic Church has been decent with their scientific understanding. They don't really deny.
One of our sometime co-hosts, Johannes, he was educated in a Jesuit Catholic tradition, and he loves to recount how the nun would tell him that when they were covering something in the Bible that contradicted science, that they would be quick to say that well, this is just myth, that science prevails. And that's quite different from what we hear out of the people who promote creationism in our schools these days.
Yeah, at least they don't have to fight that. I mean, it's an uphill battle, and they've been doing it for far too long, suppressing science and murdering or imprisoning people such as Galileo. So it's good to see that they've taken a step back from that now. They have their own faults and problems, mostly with the helping the spread of AIDS, I would say, in third world countries where they are more popular.
Well, I guess hopefully if they are truly more science-based, that they'll also realize that, communicable diseases have to be stopped. And
the germ theory of medicine.
Pretty basic science, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, hey, I like the slogan today, is God dead? God is dead, and does anyone care? Well, I'll say that I certainly hope that message spreads far and wide. Let me say thanks much, and I hope you get some more callers.
Good to hear from you. All right, the lines are open again. If you have anything else to say or comment on us, go ahead and call. To tie in our news topic with the show, the Catholic Church's attendance is down, as with attendance in all churches all over the world, including the U.S.
Yes, stats on that.
Every state of the U.S. 20% of Americans now say that they hold to be non-religious. An important thing to note here is that it's not, they're not claiming to be atheists, but they're just claiming to be not hold of a particular religious sect or belief. They probably still pray to a God in their own private homes and teach their children, but it's becoming less of an importance to people's daily lives.
So religious, not just atheists and agnostics, but...
Yeah. They are still believers, but I think the main point with this is that we're just seeing a trend and a watering down of religion from people being so fervent about it to not believing in it and pushing it so much, not being so important in people's lives. Now, we do live in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is where the show is based off of. This is probably where most of our viewers are watching us. And Knoxville, Tennessee is the #1 most biblically minded city in the entire country.
You can look that up at AmericanBible.org.
Yeah, and Tennessee's high on the list.
Across the board, Knoxville is #1 at 52% of the population being defined as Bible-minded. And this is, we also have Nashville is number 14. Chattanooga is back number 3. And even Memphis is 23.
So all of our major cities are high up on the list.
#1, Knoxville. I found that incredibly
I found it a little surprising too, but there is a church on every corner in town, so it doesn't really surprise me. I just thought that, didn't really think we'd be at the top of that list. But I think it's also we have a rather robust atheist community in town too, which this show is put on by. And I think that this might even be because the religious population is so high that people feel like they need to be a part of organizations like this.
And also that they need to be outspoken.
Yeah.
But even if you do look at Knoxville being the #1 city in the U.S., that's still only 52% of the population. That still leaves almost half of the population is not Bible-minded, or defines themselves as such.
Yeah, that's still well. Even these numbers are down. The numbers of people who define themselves as religious is down in every state, and that includes Tennessee. So,
but half of the state, even people who, like we were saying before, and I got the terms there, secular unaffiliated and religious unaffiliated. So that doesn't mean non-religious, just unaffiliated, as well as agnostic and atheist. But to not be Bible-minded even in that sense, to say that I am religious but I'm not Bible-minded, almost speaks to a spirituality and a want of a belief system rather than an actual belief system.
Well, I know plenty of Christians who haven't touched a Bible. Maybe they briefly read it. I think we're screening a caller.
I hope so.
I could even say that I am biblically minded. I read the Bible daily. I pay attention to it, but that does not mean that I believe in what it says.
What were you saying earlier about that you read somewhere that atheists were considered or found to be in a survey some of the most
know more about the Bible than any other religious group
or any religions in general.
Any religious group, and from doing the show and working with other people from the local rational societies, they certainly know more about the Bible than anybody else that I know. Our host. We have a call. Hello, caller. Can we get a name or a nickname?
My name's Doreen.
Doreen.
Hello. Do you have a question or comment for us?
Yeah, I'm just really glad you guys are out there because, I think the atheists need to be heard, and I'm not one of the 52% that are the Bible believers. I go strictly by scientific.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to see you guys out there, and I just wanted to call and say thanks.
All right. Thank you. Do you think that religion is on the decline from what you've seen?
I'm hoping.
You're hoping?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that people come to their senses and know that, I don't believe in talking to air. And, it would be nice if this was all true. That if someone had cancer, you could just pray for them and they would be healed. But it's not true. It doesn't work that way. I live more in the reality than living by the fear of something that does not exist. I live my own life. I make my own choices, and that's the bottom line for me. Straight up atheist.
Exactly. Have you always been an atheist?
No, I have not. I was actually used to help in a church with a youth group, and I taught Sunday school. But actually, I'm not even from Tennessee. I'm from Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So moving out here to Tennessee and seeing so many people that are churchgoers and that, in my opinion, are hypocrites.
Yeah,
and
I think that's definitely a problem that people
yeah,
have
that
with
are
church.
hypocrites. That bothered me a lot. That really bothered me. And then when I started reading the Bible and got some of these stories, I was like, oh my gosh, you seriously believe this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just beyond that, and I just think the way people act, but you have to go to church every Sunday. It's like calling the kettle black. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I just pulled away from it, and then just kept pulling away from it, and then started talking to other atheists, and I was like relieved that other people out there felt exactly like I do.
Yeah.
So that's why I am now atheist, and I'm really glad you guys are out there, because we're the ones that are criticized first. Because all atheists are devil worshippers, right?
That's what they say.
Know that. Exactly. We don't even believe in the devil, but yet we worship it. And it just doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm really glad to see you guys out there.
Well, thank you. Thanks for telling us the reasons why you left religion, because many people are leaving religion in droves. It's just becoming harder and harder for people to believe now, especially, like you said, with the hypocrisy of the church, and especially with them preaching hate from the pulpit, saying that gays don't deserve rights, and this is a large problem that a lot of people have.
And all the wars that have been started because of religion, what's the sense of that?
Yeah, it's hard for people to grasp, and I think that's why a lot of people are pulling away from it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they are. I'm glad they're finally realizing that it would be nice if all of that was true, but it's just, in my eyes and in my heart, it's not, and it never will be. And I'm just glad that atheists finally have a chance to speak out and say something.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Have you seen our show before?
Yes, I've seen it one time before, actually, and I'm watching you guys right now, and I wanted to call last time, but I thought today was the day, especially when you said about Tennessee being like #1 across the country. And I was like, well, I'm not a part of that. I want y'all to know that.
Yeah. Well, feel free to join us at our meetup at Barley's today and every Tuesday around 6. If you want to meet up with like-minded people that also think like you do, because like we said, we're the #1 but biblically minded city in the entire country, so it's good to feel like we have a community.
Oh, yeah, and it's growing, and that's good. And I would definitely tell my friends on the social network that I am on about you guys, too, because the majority of my friends on there are atheists.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm definitely going to let them know.
All right. Well, thank you. Do you have anything else for us?
No, I don't, but much love to you guys, and I'm really glad you're there.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hope to talk to you some other time. She made a really good point there at the end of her social media sites.
Yes.
And I think that is another way that atheists have connected, and another reason of why religion has moved down, because of the internet, is definitely the top one reason, I would say, for many reasons.
Connecting through Facebook and even Reddit, 9gag sites like this seem to be fully atheist.
Yeah.
In what you see in the post.
Atheists are a lot more outspoken now, and they feel like they can be. Atheists have always felt like they've had to be a little repressed, and especially in an area like this, if you're living, in Knoxville, it can feel a little easier. We were talking earlier, just amongst ourselves, that looking at these statistics of how high the religious rate is in Tennessee, we didn't really feel that in our own lives, but we have our own social circles and groups that we don't see this in. But other people living in smaller counties around here feel very oppressed, and they feel like they can't say anything about their beliefs to any of their peers for fear of ridicule or losing their job. And that's one thing that social media sites is helping people do, is connect, so they can feel not so lonely living out in the middle of Podunk.
Podunk.
Yeah. So I think that is a major reason why religion is down, is because atheists have... we have another call.
Good.
Welcome to Freethought Forum. Can we get a name or a nickname?
My name is Paul, P-A-U-L.
Hey, Paul, do you have a...
You've got me so confused I don't know what to do.
What's confusing you, Paul?
Well, if God doesn't exist, why do you fight so hard against it?
We're not fighting
That's
against
the point.
God. I wouldn't even say that we're particularly fighting. Like I said, many atheists feel oppressed with the way that religious people treat them, and as the earlier caller was saying, calling us Satan worshipers, saying that we don't have morality, and also trying to change laws to benefit their own religions.
Well, what I think is everybody accuses his own, and nobody else should interfere with that. Now, I wouldn't interfere with you at one of your meetings at all. So I take it that you interfere with my belief, and if I want to hang something on my door concerning God, that's my business.
Yes, I think it's your business too. I'm not coming to your front door and ripping anything off. I'm not here.
You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the putting in God we trust on the courthouse doors. Well, why not?
That is a clear violation of the separation of church and state. Church has its place, religion has its place, and government has another place, and we should not mingle them. Would you like it if another religion, say Islam, was to put a sign on the courthouse door? Would you be opposed to that?
No, I wouldn't.
So you would be okay with an Islamic
because
sign?
there are so many religions in the world that it's really hard to tell how much some of them believes and how much don't, and changing everything to benefit yourself.
I mean,
there's a lot of that going on.
I could see that if you're going to represent one, you might as well represent all of them.
That would be very hard to do.
Yeah, that would be too hard to do, and that's why instead we try to represent none, the default, so that people don't feel like the government is
pressuring them or
supporting one over the others. That is the problem that we have with, say, putting the Ten Commandments outside of courthouse building, because not everyone follows the Ten Commandments. Not everyone is a Christian.
Not every religion follows
and
the
not
Ten
every religion either. It's not just about offending offending atheists, but offending other religions even. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but what I don't understand now, like Iraq, for instance, they got their religion, and if you don't speak that language, which I don't, if I heard them talk, I wouldn't know what they're saying.
Kind of like a Catholic.
But still, they got their own belief. And some of them people would kill you over their belief.
Yeah.
They would actually do it.
They would.
There's a lot of English language books on Islam, including and Judaism. Any of the other religions can be found in English.
Yeah.
You can definitely take classes on other religions.
We as you were saying, they would kill us over there under Sharia law. They would kill us for being atheists. So that is another problem we have with that. Do you have anything else for us? Because I don't think that we really disagree on the ability for religions to say that in a public space. You sound like you want more religion or a variety of religions to be able to speak, and I think that none should be able to, just to make it even.
Well, let me point out one other thing.
Okay.
I don't know about all fire departments, but that one in South Knoxville on Chapman Highway used to have a nativity scene out front, and they were made to take that off. What business is it? I mean, if I saw, this is the same way. If I saw you on the street and I hit you, what good would that do? Or would it benefit me?
Well, I believe a fire department is publicly funded, and the taxpayers are paying for the fire department to be there, and some of those taxpayers are not going to be Christians.
Yeah, if you had a nativity scene in your yard or outside of a church, I would have no problem with it.
No one could have any problem with that.
Yeah, that would be your place to have it. It's just these displays are in a certain place, and who's funding these locations? That's a...
Well, if I had a nativity scene in my yard, if somebody come up and told me I had to remove it...
we wouldn't do that.
They would remove it on my dead body because I would fight to the death for it.
I would not have a problem with you having a nativity scene in your yard. That does not bother me one bit.
Well, why would anybody have any problem with it? The fire department or
No, I was
or
gonna say,
whatever.
it's a public space. That's your private property, and you can do with it as you please. And public space is funded by many religions and many people that have different beliefs, and they should not be endorsing one over the other ones. That's the problem that we have with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's wrong that you fight everybody for something that don't exist. I mean, that just don't make just a whole lot of sense to me.
That we're fighting for something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist?
For instance, what if I bought me a high-powered rifle and went out there in the desert? Now, I'm not talking about shooting people.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that at all. But I'm trying to give you an illustration of how silly it is. If I bought me a high-powered rifle and I went out into Colorado or the desert and trying to shoot dinosaurs, they don't exist. Would it make sense for me to be out there trying to kill one?
We're not hunting God. We're not fighting against God. We are
Well,
having
in that scenario, the fact of the matter is you'd still have a shotgun. You'd still be firing it off, and perhaps a child could be playing in the desert. There's still something there that's a danger. If whether or not God exists isn't the question, because the church still exists. Mm-hmm. The sentiment still exists. The anger still exists.
the battle of ideas.
We're not fighting God. We're fighting the organizations. And it's not even, I can't even use the word fight, truly. I mean, to me, this is about awareness. Mm-hmm. It's about sharing the idea. This show is no different from a church program. We're here saying we're here, and we're just describing our ideas, our sentiments. Yeah. They happen to collide with yours and fellow churches.
Yeah, we appreciate your phone call and your input. Do you have anything else for us? Otherwise, we're going to move on so we can take other callers.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get over here and give somebody else a chance to call you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
I hope you continue to watch and maybe call in some other time. All right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Let's move on with the topic. I was saying there's an increase in just secular life as a whole. I think people are, like we said, people are organizing more as a community and other ways outside of religion, and that is a problem that I think a lot of people have with leaving the church, is they are not only leaving their religion, but they're leaving the community that the church gave them.
And you think the internet and not just the internet, but the social ends that the internet allows, for example, like the meetup at Barley's is more than people find it through the internet. Yeah, okay, we got another
I guess
call.
We'll have to get back on that. Hello, we have another caller. Can we get your name or nickname, caller? You're on the air.
Actually, I just called earlier. This is Doreen. I had
Doreen.
to call to respond to your last caller's remarks. Him calling you and asking you why you're fighting against God is the same question I'd like to ask him. If he believes, then why is he watching your show? Why can't the atheist be able to speak what we believe or non-believe without someone coming on the show and judging us, talking about nativity scenes at fire departments, which you explained I don't know how many times was publicly funded, and having a nativity scene in your own personal yard? Like you, I could care less, you know, but atheists do have the right to speak what we believe or non-believe. This is not a fight against the church or against their God, or we're not Muslim, and I have Muslim friends. He just didn't make any sense to me. And I'm very glad that you guys are there again. But we have, like the gentleman said, wearing the hat. This is just like on Sundays when all the channels are covered in church shows, we have the right to have our space too.
This is our nativity scene. This is our nativity scene. This is our nativity scene.
Exactly.
Well,
we have the right to stand here and show off our baby Jesus.
It's not
exactly.
It's not only about that, but I think that the previous caller came to us with an honest question. I think he also just doesn't understand what atheists believe in. He probably doesn't have any atheist friends. He probably hasn't had much experience with them. So when he hears about atheists doing this type of stuff on the news, he doesn't understand why they are doing that sort of thing. He doesn't understand why we would want to put a show out like this out
It
there.
seems like he's doing. I haven't watched a lot of Christian TV shows, but a Christian call-in show, I can't imagine too many atheists calling in and arguing with the Christians on the Christian show. And so, in a way, he is fighting us while we're just sitting here.
We want Christians to call us. We want them to
My
talk to them.
point exactly. My point exactly. Let me ask you two gentlemen a question, if I may. You do have knowledge of the Bible, correct?
Yes, I'm not as good as other people I know, but of course, I read the Bible every day, as I said earlier.
Exactly.
I study it.
Okay, it's all about education. I mean, this man called in blinded and uneducated about atheists. And
I think
he
that's...
really should, like you said, he probably doesn't have any friends or...
Oh, what, did we say that?
No, I said he doesn't have any friends that are
No,
atheists.
not any friends.
Oh, that are atheists.
No, atheists.
As I said, this show is here for education, too, just to explain to people, like the previous caller, what atheists believe in, even. Because there are plenty of people in the area who don't have any experience with atheists, and they have a general misunderstanding of what we believe in. As you had said earlier when you called in, that people call us devil worshippers and that we worship Satan. That is a clear misunderstanding of what an atheist actually believes in.
Or no reference or moral base is when I heard
that's a big one, and we're going to get to that maybe eventually. That
I mean, anyone knows the true atheists, they know we are peaceful people, and we're not trying to fight anybody. But this is our beliefs or non-beliefs, and we're sticking to them. We respect you, please respect us, but we don't get the same respect that we get.
Yeah, we try. Yeah.
What Sam wants to say is he does like to fight too.
There
are what are called anti-theists, and it's kind of the other end, the extreme of the atheism. Extreme might be a bad word, but people who do see things like the scandal in the Catholic Church and do feel that there is something there that needs to not turn a blind eye to. That in the Muslim world, there's a lot of things going on, again, in extreme situations, but these aren't things that can be hidden and ignored under the excuse of religious tolerance.
I totally agree.
So
well, guys,
there is some fight.
But I had to call back and respond to your last caller because I just thought he was kind of out there. And am I being judgmental? Well, yes, I am. I'm honest. I'm an honest person. You guys keep your chin up, keep doing what you're doing. And we got to stand for what we believe in.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Doreen.
Hopefully talk to you later.
And maybe Paul will call back to comment back to her, and we won't have to do anything.
We do appreciate Christians and believers calling in. We want to talk to you.
Absolutely.
So don't feel like if you disagree with us, then you can't call in. We want to have a conversation. That's the whole point of the show. Like I said, if you have any misunderstandings about us, then go ahead and call in. We have put up on the screen. Back to the topic.
That's why everybody's laughing.
Back to the topic. God is dead. Religion is in decline.
Where did we find that?
What
is that? God found dead in space. Goodness.
So, as the point is, there is more activism from atheists, and I think that is we are standing up and wanting to be heard, and that is why there has been more of a draw.
The background's a little distracting, isn't it? All right.
But as a point that they brought up earlier, people think that if everyone leaves religion, that there will not be a basis of morality. This is another common misunderstanding of why, of something that people do not understand about atheists. They think that we are immoral without God. They think that God is the center of morality and that we wouldn't have any without it. Even the very first person that coined the phrase for our show today, "God is dead," thought that
which was
Nietzsche. If everyone was to abandon him, we would revert to nihilism. We'll get back on that in a minute. We have another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to our show. Can we get a name or a nickname?
My name is Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
Hello. I'm not an atheist per se. I'm actually spiritually Baptist.
Okay.
And I say that because I was born Baptist, went to church every day of my life, and I loved it, but then I started reading the Bible a lot more, and I just stopped really believing in what it was saying.
Oh, yeah?
What did you love about it?
I just love the community and how everyone like came together as a family, but now I realize that it's more coming against everyone else, not just family. Like they're making it more like bullying, I would say.
I understand what you mean. It's instead of trying to welcome everyone, they want to welcome everyone, but they want them to be one of them.
Yes, and they want the money and everything else that comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my question for y'all is, I do not believe that I think there's something else out there, but I don't per se it's God. But are y'all willing to say that if you guys died, just per se tomorrow, that you're not scared of there actually being a God and like going to hell?
No, there's not one ounce of worry or thought in my mind that the Christian God is real or that I would be going to hell. I would say that I 100% do not believe in the God of the Bible. I can say that I am agnostic on there being like what was it that you said earlier, that there's something. I can't say 100% that there's not. I don't believe that there's a God out there, but when something makes claims like the Christian Bible does, then they can be refuted. So, and it has been. I don't have any fears of being judged after dying.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really either, but if they're, kind of going to kind of the same question, sorry. If there is a God and you guys do die and you go to hell, are you willing to pay for not believing?
I wouldn't really have a choice in the matter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I understand.
I'm pretty sure that I would go, and if Dante was correct, I would go to Circle 6 in hell where the heretics are, and I would burn forever in a fiery tomb. It doesn't seem like the God of the Bible is up for, like, I don't think that I could debate with him and be like, say that I'm sorry. And, I don't think that he would really listen. Being in hell is supposed to be being in complete absence of God, so I don't think he's really up for debate at that point. He doesn't seem like a nice guy, even. I wouldn't think that the God of the Bible, the Christian God of the Bible, doesn't seem like a very nice person to me.
That is true, and I do also want to say about the Knoxville being one of the higher up on the list.
The highest.
Oh, yes.
Number one.
The highest, yes.
I actually have to agree with that because I lived in Richmond for 12, 11 years.
Yeah.
And I have more friends now that are more spiritual than they are religious.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm back in Knoxville, and it's like, I'm really shocked because, like you said, there is a church on, like, every corner. And it's just crazy because I never drive by. I'm like, okay, I've been to that church, I've been to that church, but I don't really want to go back into church. Like, that's actually what pulled me out of church is that me and my mom got into debate one time because she wanted me to go to church. Well, my dad didn't go to church, so I told her I wasn't going to go to church either, and she was going to force me. My dad looked at her and said, in the Bible it says, don't force someone to go somewhere they don't want to. So my mom was like, really? You're going to use the Bible against me?
I'm done.
And I was like, okay, I'm actually going to read the Bible again now, just so I can use stuff against you.
Debate is one of the great killers of religion. Hey, Richmond is number 38 on the list.
38?
Yeah,
wow.
with 33% of the population being biblically minded.
Wow, okay, I can see that.
This is something that I'm interested in asking. You say that you're spiritual. How do you say that you are spiritual without being necessarily religious?
Spiritual as in I'll just go outside just for fun and I'll talk to like nature and I'll just sit there and I'll just talk. Like I don't care who's listening, I'll just talk and I'll just ask like tree to blow or like to move or something. I know it doesn't really work that way, but sometimes to me it feels like I can connect with like some of my like old family members and stuff. Like I don't know, it's not like witchcraft because I don't light the candles or do like the Wiccan thing, but I just feel more presence when I'm alone and more I feel less alone when I'm alone than I do when I'm with a bunch of people.
That's interesting. A point that I want to make is that just because someone is non-religious doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a spiritual side. Even people that are rational and say they're atheists can still say they get some sort of spirituality in some form or some way. And I think that is also another point, that with people falling away from religion, they are, like I said, they are not necessarily falling away from, spirituality. They are just doing it in their own way, as you said, that you have your spirituality in your own way, and it's not necessarily connected to anything.
Yeah, I just hate when you tell someone that's religious that you're spiritual, they're like, oh, you're a witch. It's like, yeah, I ride on a broom.
Pagan.
Yeah.
I ride on my broom on my days off. That's what I do.
And worship Satan.
Yes.
And sacrifice children.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Have you watched the show before?
No, this is actually my first time.
All right, well, I hope you become a regular viewer. If you feel free to call in any time. Be aware that we are funded by an organization that meets up for drinks and food in the Old City immediately after the show at 6.
At Barley's.
At Barley's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so join us sometime.
How many people is there now?
30 to 40 people now. We are grown quite large, and I think that's an indication that more people are wanting community. Anyway, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right. The lines are open again. If you would like to talk to us, go ahead and call us. Call in. Okay, back to the.
If we can get.
Back to the point. I was talking about. Nietzsche had expressed that he had thought when he had coined the phrase "God is dead," that he thought that people would resort to nihilism, that without God you would believe in nothing. I completely disagree with this, because I believe in plenty of things, and I don't think I know anyone who believes in nothing.
That seems impossible.
Yeah, well, I've never met a nihilist. I'm sure they're out there.
People trying to be. I've met plenty of them.
They might be hard to meet. If you are a nihilist, I want you to call
Please,
in, because I have never talked to one. But you probably don't believe in phones, or TV, or anything. So.
Now, hey, we're not going to ridicule. We won't ridicule nihilists.
Yeah, okay, we won't ridicule your belief. But
disbelief.
We get that often, people calling atheists, saying that, well, if you don't believe in God, you believe in nothing. Of course, they believe God is everything, so if you don't believe in Him, then you must be on the side of nothing. Nothing came from nothing and made nothing.
What can you explain about humanist and the relationship that most atheists have to humanism and a phone call?
Okay, we've got another phone call, so we'll get back on that point. Welcome to Freethought Forum. Can we get a name or a nickname?
Yeah, my name is Ray.
Ray.
Hey, Ray. Do you have a comment or question for us?
I do. I've just been wanting to get you guys' take on the 2 programs that's on TV. One, the Bible series on the History Channel.
I've seen ads for that, yeah.
I think that's hilarious. But and also I don't know if you guys seen the show on History 2, it's called The History of the World in 2 hours.
I've never seen either of these shows.
I've seen the Mel Brooks one.
Well, I just wondered if you guys I know a lot of people are watching the Bible series, and it reminds me a lot of Lord of the Rings. So it's almost like it's unbelievable that people can get so involved in this, I guess. And I think that it proves the point that you guys have kind of touched on it earlier, that the more people actually do read the Bible, I think they begin to understand atheism. I think the less they read, the more they are to just kind of go with what the church says. But
yeah, exactly.
The History of the World is a really great show. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's on History 2, but it just basically talks about the history of the world, and it's kind of the contrast to the Bible story, or whatever it's called on the History Channel. So I just wondered if you guys had watched that and what your take was on it.
I haven't seen either of them, but I've seen ads for the Bible series. My first impression, one, was that it looked cool. Like you said, kind of an epic fantasy thing, which I kind of think a lot of the Bible feels like already.
Yeah,
an epic fantasy. And yeah, you're in that olden times, but it felt kind of like exploit, like someone somewhere is trying to cash in on the popularity of the Bible. Not that there's not a genuine interest in that, but I have a mixed feelings on seeing something like that. Like, are they just trying to make money off of that, or are they really trying to?
I've had people recommend that show to me. I have yet to watch it, but as you were saying, people trying to cash in. People have been trying to cash in on Bible stories, like movies like The Passion of the Christ, and even early cinema with the Ten Commandments, which I love both of those films.
Absolutely.
I mean, just because it's Bible stories up there. I mean, I can watch a show or a movie about a Bible history, a historical event in the Bible, and enjoy it just as much as me going and watching Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I view them as kind of the same.
Yes. I agree.
You've actually watched the show. What is your opinion on it? Do you think that
I've watched very little of it, but I guess I'm watching it with a different eye. I guess I'm still kind of in disbelief of the belief that people have, and I guess if you watch it from a pure entertainment perspective, it does make good TV. Which I mean, the Bible is nothing but a book of stories.
Yeah.
And if you view it as that, then it's fine to watch. But I guess for me, I'm watching it trying to realize that people actually believe this stuff. Like, Lord of the Rings is not true, but there's people that's watching this Bible story and they think this is actual stages of history.
Does the show, do you think that it tries to present the stories objectively? Like, these are the stories, or do you think that it tries to present them as...
Was everyone really that good looking back then?
Yeah.
I mean, Hercules, or not Hercules, I'm sorry, he looks like Hercules. But Samson, for instance, was like an NFL player. I mean, he looked like an NFL player with dreadlocks. It was it was amazing. I think, and I guess I'm like on Twitter and the social networks, and people are like so locked in, and I think it's because it's, again, we're in Knoxville, as you guys said. I think people are just so high believers, and I don't think it's that they're just excited about a great show. I think it's their story, and they're happy to see their story.
You could see that kind of attitude when The Passion of the Christ came out.
Yeah.
Or Lord of the Rings, for that matter. A lot of people believe that, too.
There wasn't a whole lot of cosplayers when I saw
The
Passion of the Christ.
No.
But I'll let you guys take some more calls. I just wondered if you guys had paid attention to that.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to look it up. Have you seen the show before?
I have. I try to watch every Tuesday.
Cool.
I would love to meet with you guys, and I intend on meeting with you guys one day, but I'm normally working, and so I plan on definitely getting down there to Barley's to meet you guys one day.
Okay, well, thank you. Continue to watch. Call us in some other week.
Yes, I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, bye.
Okay, the lines are open again. If you would like to call in and ask us something, we have almost about 10 minutes left of the show, but we could still take another call.
Where were we?
We brought up humanism.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we were.
You could probably tell a lot better than I can.
Oh.
The producer is passing his
possible
notes.
mean. I was going to talk about humanism as an alternative to believing in nothing. When brought with atheists don't believe in anything, I most of the time say that we have humanist traits. We believe in our fellow people, our fellow man, and humanity and civilization.
The good of mankind.
Yeah. I think most atheists I know claim themselves to be secular humanists, or at least humanists. You don't have to be an atheist to be a humanist either. There are plenty of people who are religious that still follow the traits of humanism.
Right.
I think this is mostly what people fall into when they say that. They believe in family and community and just being nice to each other. Religion does not have a corner on morality. The golden rule predates religion, and once you lose religion, you do not lose that.
I definitely know in the Ten Commandments, I could not list them, but...
I try hard. I'm not going to try right now on the air.
Right. But I definitely hear like that as a reference when I talk to Christian friends and family. And when I read them, they seem not to be necessarily a moral basis, at least not most of them, or half, I'm not sure. But even the ones that are there seem like no stretch of intelligence to think that you shouldn't kill your fellow man, or that you shouldn't steal from people, and respect your parents. Those seem to be inherent thoughts that we all have.
Just built into us as we've evolved as a social creature that needs other people to...
I mean, that's exactly it. You function your entire upbringing around other people, and you learn these things just by being respectful. If you hurt someone, you see them cry, you know that that hurts them. You learn this as an infant, as a small child.
As you say, it goes back to the golden rule. You don't want to be hurt and cry, so you don't do it to other people. This is not a hard thought, and we didn't need a divine power to give that to us. Animals aren't even that cruel to each other.
Right.
Animals have their own social structures where animals will ostracize, or pack animals at least, not ones that live alone, will ostracize members that step out of line. They even have hierarchies of who's the leader. So you can't say that morality is even a purely human trait. Let's get back into why religion is on the downfall. We still have 8 minutes left on the show for a quick call if anyone's wanting to throw us something. I think we don't. Another reason why religion is down is science has the answers now. Even though creationists try to hold us back and say that they know why God made things, we know why the sun travels around. We don't think that's a deity anymore. We don't need these answers.
And back to what you're saying, not necessarily about social networks, but about the internet.
Oh, yeah.
The spread of knowledge and information is so at your fingertips.
And that's one thing that I think one of the reasons why the internet will be the death of religion, in my opinion, is also because if somebody posts something on the internet and says something dumb, immediately someone can comment on it, point to a reference.
Someone or everyone can comment on it.
A point to why they are wrong, show why they're wrong, send them to a reference site with papers on why, carbon dating is right.
I would like to see a statistic of the correlation between active internet users and non-believers.
I think you would definitely see that in a statistic in work in third world countries, as we were talking about.
Where religion is more prevalent, where information is less.
The Catholic Church has largest members of its groups in South America and Africa, where they don't have they don't have access to information. So when the scandals pop out about the church, or even just simple things like, I think that the past Pope Ratzinger had said that condoms are completely ineffective against stopping AIDS. He had said that. That is an outright lie, and I think with those words, he caused the deaths of thousands, maybe millions. But if they had the internet, they would have been able to look that up.
And dispute it instantly.
Another thing that I think helps this is I'm a big fan of the YouTube community of atheism. And of course there's a Christian community on there as well, and they kind of have battling, almost antagonistic relationships with some of the YouTube atheist users. It can get quite entertaining. But I think that is a prime example of how someone can say something, and then someone else can make a video, point by point, disputing it, and just quietly put that up there. And the facts will work themselves out. The truth is the truth, no matter what it is. It will lead to the same point. I think we were talking about that.
Yes.
We were talking about this the other day when I was chatting with him, is that meeting other atheists, get to that point, becoming atheists, and get to these beliefs with different paths in their lives. Right?
And what I was saying was a lot of the things that I and fellow non-believers come to logical conclusions in our own minds. We have worked things out through thought process alone. And we meet other people who have found and come to the exact same conclusions. Again, without having to be told it, without reading it. And that is such an indicator of some deeper truth, that without any reading, without any discussion, just knowing existence in the world around us, we can come to the same exact thought in two completely different minds.
Mm-hmm. And you would not have that with Christianity if you were not, or any religion, if you were not taught it when you were a child.
If you did not read the books.
Yeah, if you did not have it as part of the society, you would not stumble across it. You would not find it. I think this is one of my favorite quotes by Richard Dawkins is, "Religion is a virus that affects children, and it can be wiped out in one generation if everyone just stops teaching their children religion."
Now you're fighting.
It can be out.
Paul.
I am an anti-theist, I'll admit it. I think the world would be a better place without religion. But these statistics, there are more and more people who are under 30 are non-religious, and these numbers grow. And when they have kids, they're not going to teach their kids religion, and the next generation will become less religious,
Yep.
and so on until it won't matter.
It's a funnel.
Yeah. I think we are at a point where we don't need religion anymore in our lives. Another point that I want to make real fast before the show's out, I think that another thing that has drawn people away, our first caller had mentioned it, is hypocrisy, and I think the religious right has polarized not only the
Tea
political,
partiers
not only the political spectrum, but also religiously.
Mm-hmm. What is the Westboro?
Yeah, Westboro Baptist is about as far right as you can get. The Ku Klux Klan has even said that they do not agree with the Westboro Baptist. When the Ku Klux Klan says that you're doing bad, you know you are on the wrong side. I'm not saying the most religious people are like the Westboro Baptist. They are completely off the charts.
Off the charts.
Yeah, off the charts. But it is that type of polarization that I think has led people to want to pull away from the church. They don't want to be thrown in the same bus with these people that are doing this sort of thing, or hating gays.
What seems to be a lot of what we look at the Muslim world is we judge them entirely by their extremists.
Yes, that's true too.
And
we were talking about that the other way.
does it, it's hard when we're in amongst all the Christians here, but I'm sure that's the view. And it gets to that point where it doesn't matter what the moderates believe when the extreme can be taken to that. What's the extreme of atheism?
Yelling at people on the internet. Or that's
making
about it.
Memes.
Yeah, making
with an ugly hat on a picture of God.
We've got about a minute left, so we've got to wrap up the show. I'd like to thank all of the callers that called us today. You had some very good points. This has been Freethought Forum, a program sponsored by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalists of East Tennessee. Feel free to contact us at the websites rationalist.org. You can find the ASK group from meetup.com, and you will find out where we meet and how to come and meet us all. You can send us voicemail at 865-272-9060, and email us any thoughts and questions you weren't able to get to us at freethoughtforum@yahoo.com. We are here every week, every Tuesday from 5 to 6, and you can watch us at 2200 Greenwich Mean Time at ctvknox.org. So tell your friends that are out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
And